Welcome to the Hound's Tales podcast, your home for field trialing and deer dog hunting. Stories and discussions on the world of dog hunting. So drop the gate and cast your hounds for another episode of the Hound's Tales podcast. Welcome everybody to the Hound's Tales podcast. Tonight I'm joined by a good buddy of mine, Todd Miller. How you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm doing well, James. How you been?
Oh, doing good. Had an interesting day this morning, didn't we?
Oh yeah, for sure, as always.
Yeah, we'll definitely get into that. The Virginia DWR had a meeting, and me and Todd both. I didn't realize he was doing it until his name popped up and got to hear him speaking. But
Likewise.
yeah, right. So go ahead and introduce yourself, man. And you know how long you've been hunting with dogs, and what's your name, and all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah, my name's Todd Miller. I've been with dogs my whole life. I think we first got into field trial dogs. My dad had always had deer dogs. And he had a pack he was pretty proud of, and we got into field trialing. Had our first field trial dogs in 1998, and that's when I was 5 years old. And we jumped in full force, hook, line, and sinker, and have been hard at it ever since. I went with them.
It's a drug, man. I'm telling you, it's a drug.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We started out. Probably the worst thing was we had some really early success, so that got us hooked, and it's been with it throughout the years. My parents did it big time. Throughout college, I would go when I could, but since then, I've stepped up. Have run the dogs a lot myself lately. Mom and Dad's been busier and busier, so I've taken on a lot of it, and but we still go together. We still hunt together and have a good time.
Yeah. It seems to be a very common occurrence, and I don't know how it always happens like that, but it seems like once people are getting into it, that early success story always seems to be brought up.
That's what ruined it. Probably been a better lot off if we got our teeth knocked in from the get-go and let us quit.
Right. That's what I tell everybody. That first field trial, I wish I would have got my butt quit. I never would have got into this crap, but sure enough, here I am.
Oh yeah.
Oh me. So I'm kind of changing my flow up a little bit. I want to ask you, your favorite dog. Everybody always has that favorite dog. You got to have at least one. Do you have a favorite dog that you'd like to speak on?
Oh, for sure. I mean, hands down, Bro Code was he was my best friend. We had a ball.
Yeah, I figured. I had a feeling that was going to be the one. I really did. I had the feeling that was going to be the one. I heard a lot of good stories about him. I don't really think I can't remember if I got to see that dog or not. I think I may have come in maybe a little too late for that one, but excuse me. But I know you got some pups that are doing very well out of them.
Oh yeah. I've been blessed. I got some that are doing well. I like them. I don't think they're quite what he was, but they're doing well for me.
Yeah. I know I've had to call that name out quite a few times at some of these hunts. And I'm going to tell a story on you too while we're talking about it. And you know exactly where I'm going with this.
Oh yeah.
Is that dog's real name? Is that?
Oh yeah.
Yep, that's what I figured.
Absolutely. So that's Romeo. That's Bro Code's litter mate.
I gotcha. So, Mr. Miller here has a dog called Miller's Hot Shit. And the very first hunt that I mastered, that is one of the names that I had to call out in front of a room full of people, was Miller's Hot Shit. You talk about some looks. The people that hadn't heard it. I wasn't sure if that was a typo or what it was, but it threw me for a loop.
I gave them their names before they were 12 months old, and throughout her career, most people they'd be reluctant to call it out. They'd get there and they'd like, I'm not going to say that word, or They said there's children here. I'm
Right.
not gonna say it. Back then I knew which dog they were talking about.
Right. Right. I know one of the old timers there. He kind of scalded me a little bit after. He's like, "You shouldn't have said that name out in front of all the kids." I was like, "Well, I thought it was
Uh,
funny, so I just went with it."
oh yeah, which if they've been around hunting and people that hunt with us, they hear it all, I'm sure. But
That's right.
yeah, no, that's her real name.
That's awesome. I love it. I love it. It just that one threw me for a loop that day. I'll never forget that. I'll never forget it. So, what's some of y'all's success stories? Like you said, I know y'all hunt as a family. You and your brother seem to be at almost every hunt together. So I know it's kind of a family affair. Is there any big success stories that y'all have been able to have?
Oh yeah, I mean we've done good over the year. I mean Brad and I we hunt together, but we got separate dogs. He hunts his, he keeps some of his own, and I got mom and dad and I. We got ours there at the kennel that we do. But oh yeah, we've got lots of things we're proud of and had big successes here and there. Had a lot of dry spells, a lot of times where felt like quitting, but you keep on keeping on, and you take the good with the bad, and I always tell people I'd rather be lucky than good.
That's right. That's right. Yep. I'd rather be lucky than good any damn day. Any day.
That's right.
Uh, excuse me. Yeah. See, I didn't know that y'all had. I thought y'all were all under the same kennel.
I mean, essentially, I mean, it's a lot of close bred dogs, but Brad, he's got a couple buddies his. They run together. They do their own thing a little bit. We'll get together at some hunts every now and again, but it's got me and mom and dad. We got all the ones right here at the farm that we take care of, and that's just how we do it.
I got you. Well, that makes sense. That makes sense. So you are a big part of, if not run it, I may be speaking out of line there, talking about the Tidewater. It's a big hunt that gets put on at Billy Pools every year. It's one of the best hunts, in my opinion, to go to. Fantastic prizes. It's well organized, hands down, easily, if not the best 3-day of the year, in my opinion. So what's your affiliation with that hunt?
Well, definitely appreciate the kind words. So the Tidewater's been around for a really long time. We tried to figure out the last couple of years exactly the anniversary we're having, and we couldn't nail it down to the first year it started. But it's right up there with one of the oldest fox hunting associations in the country. It's over 100 years. We knew that, but we couldn't nail down exactly how many years the Tidewater's been going on. Originated here on the Middle Peninsula. We've been big involved with it, my whole family since we got involved with field trialing. My dad was vice president of it years ago. My mom became secretary, had a few different presidents. I became president, was president for a while. She's been secretary for years. I don't know exactly how many years. Kudos to her. She does all of the legwork like every secretary, makes a hunt what it is. But I stepped down last year. Now Brad was president this past year. We got Austin Mundy. He's vice president. He's next up in line to take it over. But we just really try to, serve the hunters well, give back to the hunters, and just try to put on a good hunt. It's not about us. It's about the hunters.
Right. And I think that's probably why, that mindset. I'm sure most all hunts have that mindset, but I'm telling you, man, y'all do a fantastic job of giving back and really making it feel like when you do, and I was lucky and was able to place this year at the Tidewater, and it just
Absolutely.
it was such an incredible feeling. That was my first 3-day I've ever placed at, for one, and then like the way that you're rewarded for it was just incredible. Like it really made it feel like it was, a really special thing. So I can't thank y'all enough for
it's
that.
deserving. You think about, all the hard work and effort, time and money you spend in putting in the dogs, and, you go to a hunt and you do that well at a hunt like that. You deserve, good prizes, good awards, good recognition. That's what the way it ought to be.
Yep, I agree with you. So this is actually the Tidewater is one of the very few hunts at Billy Pools that are affiliated with the Masters program. When did y'all switch over to? When did y'all make that switch to the Masters side?
I think this year was the third year that we've been Masters.
Gotcha. Now, what was the reasoning behind that? Like, what made the switch over to the Masters program?
It was a big push by me, which we have a really good board of directors. You know, a lot of local guys, and you know, don't have a ton of board of directors, but I think sometimes a small group does work better. And it was a big push by me. I used to be a critic of the Masters, but after going to some Masters hunts, experiencing, judging some hunts, just realizing what is best for the best set of rules for rewarding the best dogs. And, you know, I think I'm no bigger supporter than me for the Masters, you know, for just how the rules are, how the judging is for picking the best dog. I think it's 110% the best set of rules for picking the best dog. You know, quite frankly, a lot of people would be surprised, but, you know, 3 years ago, the running wasn't the best at pool, scoring wasn't that bad, and probably what I was able to convince people was doing 5-minute scoring, you know, versus the Nationals does it 10 minutes. I mean, you think at a big pen like that with 400 dogs, I mean, most of the packs are 40, 50, 60 dogs. 10 minutes is a long time. If a dog's leading a race in there for 10 solid minutes and a pack jerking 50 head, you know, he deserves more than the, you know, option of getting 35 points.
I agree wholeheartedly with that. You know,
that was probably the single biggest thing that I was, you know, why I was able to convince people to start, you know, trying the Masters out. And now it's got some attraction. A lot of people like it. Dustin had the 2-day there that turned out great. And now the Masters itself is going to be at Billy Pools next year, and I'm so excited.
I was going to say, I cannot wait for that. I've got that one circled. I bought a whole damn calendar ahead of time to circle that date.
Yeah, I've already put in my request for time off of work for that one.
Right. Yep, I cannot wait for that one. That one's going to be huge. Huge. Well, I can definitely say I enjoy both, you know. Now correct me if I'm wrong, and maybe some people listening don't know either. There is a Masters HGA option, correct?
Yes. Yep.
Now, what made y'all choose not to run the HGA option, rather, you know, over the GTP system?
I mean, I think the GTP is better. I think it's best for picking the best dog. You know, it's all scores are counted equally. You know, I think back on like even when, you know, you have a lower scoring hunt or running maybe tough, it's not about, you know, who's hunting a lot or who's running a lot. I look at it as like a fruit basket, and, you know, the most fruit you can get in your basket is what's going to get you to win, whether it's hunting, trailing, speed and drive.
Right.
I particularly like the GTP because, you know, all scores are counted the same. You know, a 20-point hunting score is the same as a running alone or, you know, a 4th place speed and drive. And I think sometimes at HGA hunts that, you know, you get judges, they are more hesitant to give that 20 or 25-point hunting score because they know the impact it's going to have on their results. Whereas this GTP, it's all counts the same. So, you know, if you see it, go ahead and give it. Don't feel reluctant.
Right.
You know, I think it encourages judges to give what they see. You know, why are you going to hesitate from saying, hey, you know, this dog might not have been in a single race all day, but now he's hunting his tail off, but I'm not going to give him a hunting score because he doesn't deserve to win. I mean, if he's hunting, you're supposed to give him the score.
That's fair. That's 100% fair. You know, I've never thought about it in that mindset, but that's, yeah, I had my own kind of like, I had my own theories behind the GTP system, and you know, I have no issues with it. I love the GTP system. Don't get me wrong, but I do like, you know, I guess I had an older school mentality of a fox hunt, especially one that's not scoring very high. I love seeing the hunting dogs get rewarded, but
absolutely,
you know,
I mean, in a GTP hunt, they absolutely do,
right,
and I would say even if you compare like the results of the top 10, whether it's GTP, Masters HCA, or Nationals HCA, probably 70 to 80% of the results are going to be the same regardless of what set of rules you run under.
Right. That's
And,
that
and,
makes sense.
and people, they have their critiques and they have their theories and they got their mindsets. But I mean, a good dog is going to shine no matter which set of rules you run under, no matter where you run, what type the running is, how good it is. A good dog's going to get his day.
You're right. Nope. I agree 100%. Especially after hearing it explained like that, it's like, okay, that really, like, if you can't get with that and understand that it's really evening out the whole field, because that, I hear so many people complain about that, like, oh, that's crazy that a dog that got 40 points speed and drive pretty much won the hunt or finished second HGA because he had 100 points hunting.
And I've had my fair share of those.
Right.
I mean, even just last month at Virginia State, we HJ'd from a 10-point trailing score. And I mean, I'll take it any way I can get it. And,
Right.
I've had my fair share of those, but I think just for picking the best dogs, I think the Masters rules is most accommodating for the dogs, most accommodating for the judges. Don't hesitate to give what you see. It's fair for everyone. I mean, all scores count the same. And I particularly like the way the Masters does endurance. If you think of what endurance means in its definition, the way they do it, you get 10% of your total score the first day, 20% of your total score the second day, and 30% of your total score the third day. That's what endurance means. I mean, it means maintaining. It means holding on. The way the Nationals does it is just the same percentage of your total score each day. But if you think about what endurance is, that isn't the proper way to reward it.
That makes a lot of sense too. It's been a while since I've sat down and compared the books, but I knew the rule differences, but I haven't gone back and looked at it like that. And definitely,
you've got a dog that scores better as the hunt goes on. He's going to be more rewarded as, I remember being in Swainsboro, Georgia at a Masters HCA hunt, and I had a dog that was 7th speed and drive, probably wouldn't otherwise HCA, but his best day was the third day, and he had 30% endurance the third day, and I think he ended up like third endurance because he scored most of his score the third day and ended up like 6th HCA, whereas otherwise, just 7th speed and drive probably isn't getting you in the top 10.
Right. Makes a lot of sense. I know I went back and did the math. I don't think it would have made a difference because that dog had a hell of a last day and mine didn't have the day it needed at the Tidewater. But I was like, man, that 30% really killed me on that last day.
Huge difference. I don't like to brag, but so much. But I'll tell you, the best hunt I've been to recently was a couple years ago at the World Cup, and it was in South Carolina, and it was a 3-day hunt, and they ran each day at a different pen. The first day was at the I-95 pen, great facilities, great running. The second day was at the Little Manning pen, and the third day they went down to a smaller pen, a Foxfire, and it was, let's get up and go. It was balls to the wall. And, how they did that, and with the endurance, that's when I was there. I had Broco. That's probably the best hunt, most proud hunt I've been to. Like, first day, he barely made the cut. They cut the bottom 33%. He barely made it. The second day, I think he was like the 11th high dog, so he pulled up a little bit. And the third day, I'm like, I might as well go home. Like, I'm not in the mix. And, people are talking about, no, this pen is running. It's like, there's going to be some dogs score 1,000 points speed and drive. And I'm like, well, I need to score 1,000 points speed and drive.
Right.
And I think I turned out 2 dogs the third day at the Foxfire pen. Never been there in my life. Never seen it. And the third day, Broco scored 1,005 speed and drive with 30% endurance. Got him like 1,350 GTP. He pulled like from 50th to 9th and won like $1,100.
Dang.
Couldn't tell me I was ready to go.
I was going to say, that's a pump up right there. That's awesome. Yep, that's incredible. See, I've had for a couple months now, I've had a thought like of a hunt like that. If you could do something like, I'd like to see Tar River the first day, then like pools the second day, and then go down to like
That'd be awesome, wouldn't it?
do what?
It'd be awesome, wouldn't it?
Oh my gosh, and then go pick another pen, like another coyote pen at the for the third day. Just Jesus, man, you talk about really finding the best dogs. That would be killer.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
So, y'all, you are also involved with another hunt that gets hosted down at Billy Pools. Y'all host the Virginia Dog Hunting Alliance one-day hunt. So, go ahead and tell me a little bit about that, and what's your affiliation with all that, and how y'all make it happen.
Yeah, I mean that's called our chapter fundraiser. So we got the King and Queen County chapter, which the Hunting Dog Alliance. They try to start as many local chapters as they can. Have people that be involved locally to help out with hunting with dogs. And they asked them, each to try to put on one fundraiser a year, just to help contribute. So that's been our fundraiser. I think we've done it I think it's 6 years now. We used to have it a pin here close by, but some things changed. So the last few years we've had it down at Pools. And it's been a really, really good fundraiser. There needs to be more fundraisers like that. But we put it on, a bunch of guys from my area come down there and judge, a bunch of guys we deer hunt clubs around that, have dogs. And it's a good opportunity for them to come, give back, participate with the Hunting Dog Alliance, and then, to also experience field trialing. And we have a ball. The money we raise, it gets donated towards the Virginia Hunting Dog Alliance PAC, the Political Action Committee. So the money that we raise for the PAC, that gets used which Kirby and the Hunting Dog Alliance donates towards legislators that have proven they support hunting with dogs. Not just anybody, but those that have proven they're on our side.
Right.
So it's a lot of delegates, it's a lot of senators, a lot of legislators in the General Assembly. With the money we raise and from other fundraisers, Kirby's able to give, like the Speaker of the House, $1,000 if they support us. Their chairman on a committee, $500. Other ones, $250. It's not a lot of money by the time you break it down and go to each of them, but it buys us a seat at the table. So when any legislation comes up that has to do with dog hunting, they say, hey, these guys gave me money. Plus, they've got a huge membership. There's a lot of people that hunt with dogs in Virginia. He's like, both of those combined, like maybe I need to listen to what these folks have to say.
Right. Power in numbers, baby. Power in numbers.
Yeah.
So is this something that y'all are going to be continuing? How long have you been doing this hunt down there?
I think it's been at Pools 2 or 3 years now. We've been doing it about 6 years.
Okay.
We averaged, making about $4,000 just one day, which isn't bad. I mean, you figure it's a group of, 15 to 20 of us judging and getting it together. And, all the people that come to Hunters, which are going to be at Pools every Saturday, typically.
Right.
And, to raise about $4,000 to give back to the Hunting Dog Alliance PAC.
That's a nice hit. It's a nice hit. So is this something y'all plan on continuing to do down there for a while?
Absolutely. It's a lot of work on us and me. Like I give out the numbers, try to get the judges together. In the middle of the summer, it's difficult getting people to say, hey, instead of going to the beach, I'm going to take 2 hours to drive down there and spend a whole day judging a field trial. But, like you helped us out this past year. We get people driving. We're going to drive. We're going to do what we can to keep having it.
Yeah.
As long as we can do justice to the hunters showing up, we're going to keep having it.
Awesome. So I'll give you a chance, and I missed doing it on the Tidewater. So if you got any plugs that you need to plug on people that have maybe helped out, or maybe if y'all had some sponsors for these two hunts, here's your chance to do a good public plug for them.
Well, the Tidewater, that's the big thing about like the masters. Ronnie and Laurie have taken charge of it. They give us coolers. They do everything they can to support and promote the affiliation. Kudos to them. They're doing a hell of a job. Also have Mike Casper, his company. He helps donate some stuff. Gets a lot of the coolers donated. Cody Hawkins and Rhino and all them, they always do everything they can to help us out. I mean, we're grateful and gracious for everything they do, and I mean that's what makes an association good. I mean, there's some other good associations there. I try to model behind, like a good one I look up to is the South Carolina State. I mean, if you look at their association, their hunt every year, it is top notch. And I try to like follow in their footsteps and be like them. They are good as gold.
Gotcha. That's good stuff, man. You know, like you said, any kind of help you can get, and that's big for any of these hunts. You know, if anybody out there is listening and has an opportunity to, I don't care if it's as small as something going and helping judging the day of. You know, that's huge. It's huge. Any kind of help is huge.
So little can go such a long way.
Right. So we kind of talked about it a little bit at the beginning. So we both sat in, listened in, and spoke at the DWR for Virginia meeting this morning. I think it was the last quarter meeting, if I'm not mistaken. And we sat in, and there was topic discussion over the hound dog study that's going on in Virginia. I know me and you kind of texted back and forth a little bit after that, but man, I know one of my biggest takeaways was the respect that the houndsman gave during the meeting.
Yeah, I mean, it's you listen to it, and I mean, it's been every meeting they've had. I mean, going on for now a few years. It's the same, a lot of the same people there every meeting, and I mean, like to listen to the other side. I mean, it's not hard to realize. Like, I mean, like,
Right.
these people aren't good people. They don't get along. Like, yeah, I would not want to be their neighbor.
Right. Right.
And we continue to come in, meeting in and meeting out, and just gracious, thankful for the game board and all they do. And, you know, it's obvious. Like it was, I mean, even more so today. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to realize what's going on.
Yeah. And that was, that I'd say that was, a huge takeaway. We didn't necessarily win in the strength in numbers. I thought that was kind of a letdown that we seemed to be outnumbered as far as the public speaking. Now, we weren't, neither one of us were there, so I don't know what it looked like in the house and in the building. But as far as people that spoke, we were outnumbered probably, like 8-5, like 9-5, something like that.
All right.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was the one thing I guess I was a little disappointed in, but with the way that the houndsmen presented themselves, I still think, I mean, you tell me if I'm wrong, but I think it was a win today for us.
It should be, definitely should be. I will know the last meeting after the UVA IEN board presented their progress with the study, a lot of the game board asked questions and pushed them on that. And it frustrated me the way that they critiqued them. They were the guys that hired them, and they, you could kind of tell they were trying to probe to get a result that they wanted instead of letting, the UVA folks and the advisory committee come to their conclusion. And I did notice today that all the board members kept quiet. They didn't ask them any questions. They didn't give any comments. And a couple of the ones that were critical last time weren't even there today.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, it was interesting. I think probably smart on their point, but from our viewpoint, it's not to be deceived. I think a lot of the game board, some of them are with us, but some of them are critical. And they're lawyers, they're bureaucrats. They're not people. They're not, small community people. They're not people that hunt with dogs. They don't understand the way that we live or the way we hunt. So I think that's a challenge for us. But like I say, we keep showing them that we're the better people, we're the better side, and we just hope it prevails.
Right. Nope, I agree. So what do you think that we can do? These meetings happen all the time, and I just finished up before me and you started this. Before I called you to record, I had to write a blog for this week. I hadn't wrote a blog, and my mind kept going back to talking about, what can we do as houndsmen to protect and what can we do is when these meetings come up. What is your opinion on what we can do to preserve, as far as, when these meetings and stuff like this come up? What do you think that we can do? Do you think that the power in numbers is a big help?
I think we definitely got like membership and strength in numbers. Sometimes we have trouble motivating them and getting them to, like come to speak. Like it's hard. A lot of our people are, blue collar people. They're working. They don't have time to take off to go speak to these people on a Thursday. They don't have the, technological capability to sign in like you and I did to speak. I mean, both you and I were able to do it from work today, which is a blessing.
Right.
They're able to do it virtually. If they weren't, we wouldn't have been able to be there.
Right.
But I think as far as us as dog hunters, we just got to be conscious of our surroundings. We got to know what we're going on. I mean, there's wolves behind every tree trying to shut us down. It's not going to stop.
Yep.
It's just with urbanization, more people moving in, less people understanding our way of life, our lifestyle. We just got to be conscious of our surroundings. We got to be the better person every single time. And, we gotta keep track of everyone else that's around us, like you talked about with the people that hunt with you. If you get somebody that's out of line, like we need to be the ones that step in and correct them. We need to be the ones that step in and get rid of them if they don't deserve to be dog hunters. And that's what's going to be key to our future.
Yeah, I know one thing. One of the landowners had said, and I thought it was rather comical actually. She said, "If I hear bad apples one more time, I'm going to vomit." But the fact is, whether or not she believes that or not, I agree. Like what you just said, like bad apples have to be removed. There's not many bad apples, but one bad apple in a bushel of 100 is going to make the whole 100 go rotten.
Absolutely.
So I think as houndsmen, we have to, and then it sucks sometimes. That was one of the worst days I've ever experienced as a leader in my hunting club, is having to remove people from our organization, from our club that love dog hunting, but they're just not doing it the way that needs to be presented out there right now. I absolutely hated it. It took everything in me to just flat out say it. It took everything in me to nut up and kick these guys out of a club, because nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to say, "Hey, I don't care how much you love it, but you're not doing it right, and you can't do it with us no more."
It's tough. Nobody wants to do it, like you say, but that what makes a leader. Stepping up, and at this point, every dog hunter needs to be a leader.
Right. I agree 110%. 110%. It's, and do you think it actually benefits? I know a lot of people are wondering, and that was a thought in my head, and it sounds like you've been to a lot of these meetings, and I trust your judgment on this, and this is why I'm asking you. Do you think people showing up to these meetings and speaking is making a difference, or is it a moot point that we're going out here and doing this?
Absolutely. I think, showing up to these meetings, we've had a handful of people showing up speaking for dogs at every meeting. There's been a concerted effort by a small group of people doing everything they can, everything in their power. They're emailing their legislators. They're ranting and raving on DWR board. Doing everything they can. And, if we're not there just to push back against it, you got to imagine the DWR board, they got, they're well-off people. They got other things to worry about. They got to get tired of just listening to these people vent and vent and vent.
Right.
And, if we're not there to push back against them, and you would think it would be obvious, like, it's not hard to tell who's good and who's not good and decipher from the complainers about what's legitimate and what's not. I remember, I don't know if it was last meeting or the meeting before, one of the landowners was there and he was complaining against dog hunting because he had just worked one of his roads and his neighbor rode a four-wheeler down it and tore it up looking for their blind poodle. And I'm like, this guy, I mean, this is his neighbor that he's talking about. And, you know, they're looking for their blind poodle. It's probably an old dog that they love like their child. And he's upset because they rode their four-wheeler down his road, which, I mean, I guess technically they're not legally, how the law is written now, they shouldn't be able to ride their four-wheeler down the road. But he wants to strengthen laws to be able to prosecute those people for riding down the road on their four-wheeler looking for their blind poodle.
Wow.
And I'm like, is this really what we've come to? And, you know, you have other ones that, you know, I remember one guy, he's on there and he's talking about how hunting dogs ruined his couple $1,000 food plot. I'm like, dogs ruined your food plot? Really?
Right. That's what I'm sitting here thinking. Like, how does a dog ruin a food plot? I'm very confused on this.
Not a deer, not a bear, you know.
No.
A dog ruined the food plot.
That's that last comment I made today when I spoke, and I thought about not saying it, but I was like, you know what? I'm a little. What did the one guy say that until houndsmen can keep every dog off my property that's causing destruction or some shit like that, he's like, then don't have hounds, or you know, and kind of is what he said. I was like, God, that is the most ignorant thing I've ever heard. And that's why I said, well, when these landowners can accompany and keep count and keep off every cat, bobcat, deer, bear, you know, Billy Bob's blind dog from down the road, once they can keep them from coming off of it, you know, I just...
well, that's the thing, like I said about, I mean, you know, Virginia's growing up. There's more people moving in. Land parcels are getting smaller. People don't hunt. They don't understand hunting. But like you and I said, I mean, we can hunt around. If you go to them, you're a decent person. There's no reason why we can't, you know, figure it out and get along. Right. You know, if two reasonable people go together, there's no reason why they can't figure it out and, you know, progress.
Yep. I agree 110%. And that's the mindset that houndsmen we have to keep. Is it's very easy to become overpassionate in the sport, and it's something that if a situation does arise, it's very easy, you know, if a landowner shoots a dog or threatens the life of a dog, it's very easy to go in, you know, guns cocked, hot loaded, ready to go. And that's a figure of speech, that's an expression, people. I'm just saying, if you go in mad, going upset, you know, it's going to make things escalate. It's not going to do any good.
That's right. It's going to look bad on us in the long run.
Right. It's just, you know, we got to understand to take a deep breath. You know, even if you got to go walk around for 10 minutes, maybe you need to go, maybe go and take a sprint and wear yourself out a little bit. You know, do something to, you know, cool off.
Or if it's as simple as saying, hey, I'm not the best person for this job, I'm going to call my president, James Hudson, because he's better at this than me to handle this.
Right. I mean, you know, that's I mean, it's a good point, you know, and some people aren't. And that, you know, in the situation that I brought up today, that's exactly what happened. The guy, the hunter called me and was like, look, if I go over there, it's not going to be good.
That's right.
And he called me because he knew I could go over there and keep a level head because I wasn't emotionally involved with it. So, I mean, that's an excellent point to, you know, if that is something that you think you're going to go in hot and heavy, then call somebody else. Let them be the talker.
That's right.
All right. Go ahead. Sorry.
I mean, that's what I say. We just need leaders. Everybody hunts with dogs needs to be a leader.
Right. I agree 110%. So, unless you got anything else on any of these other topics, I want to move into our closing topic, and I sent you a couple ideas. Which one did you get a chance to think about? Which one you want to talk about?
I mean, I could probably talk about all of them.
Right.
You know, with the conversation we had, just talking about the sport 10 years from now. You know, I think that's most important.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, what's your thoughts? Where do you see the sport 10 years from now then?
I'm just hopeful. I'm hopeful that we can still be here doing this and doing the same things that we are today. It's a deck stacked against us. There's wolves behind every tree trying to shut us down. I mean, you think just 10 years ago from today, it was before we had the fox pen situation. And then, just 5 or 6 years ago when we had the sting and shut down all those other pens. And, it's like, what's coming next? Where are we going to get blindsided from? We just always got to be on our P's and Q's. If 10 years from today, we're able to do the same stuff that we're doing now, I'm just so hopeful. Hopefully we can.
Yeah.
It's definitely progress. It takes people, I think, like you doing this podcast, the fellow that wrote the book, and he's posted on Facebook about all the reviews he got from still hunters, and talking about people that never done. Just appreciative. This is the way that's going to keep us going. Doing groups with like the Hunting Dog Alliance and everything, being supportive. I remember Johnny Morris was at a Hunting Dog Alliance meeting. He used to be a past chairman, and the Hunting Dog Alliance started in 2007. And in 2007, we had game wardens coming up to us telling us, hey, there's not going to be dog hunting 5 years from now. But we organized, we got together, we coordinated, and we're still doing it today. And I'm just hopeful that we can still be doing it now 10 years from today.
Yep. I'm 110% with you, and I appreciate the kind words too. And ironically, that guy had messaged me a while back before I had picked this thing back up again, and was trying to get on the show. I'm glad you actually said something. I need to get up with him and try to get him on here, because it seems like that book was done very well.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, it was. I've got the book. It is very well, and I mean, like, he's proactive and posting the reviews about how people that don't have dog hunting. You did the podcast with the folks from out of state. A lot of them don't know about dog hunting, especially dog hunting in Virginia. And just the more educated people can be, and just give an honest effort to, open mind when they look into it, that's how we prevail.
Yes, sir. I agree 110%. That was the main reason I did that, and I joined that group. Is I said, it's an alley for us to promote and explain and educate what hound hunting is. And actually, I've got 2 people lined up already from that group to come ride with me this hunting season. So I mean, awesome. Even though it's 2 people, it's 2 more people that can spread the word, and that 2 people turns into 4. That 4 turns into 16, and next thing you know, 100 more people understand and know what dog hunting is and what it's about.
Absolutely, and that's what we need to do. I mean, get to know your delegates, get to know your legislators, involve them, get them invited, convince them, educate them about dog hunting. And I mean, that's like you and I just here tonight, not to meet today. We're just as candid as can be. And, that's how we win. We're not talking trash. We're not blowing smoke. We're just as candid as we can be.
Right. No, I agree. And, no, I think that's 100% accurate, and I'm with you. I got a little boy, and I'm hoping that I can. I dream of the days where I can watch him get his first kill, and have his own dogs and that kind of stuff, and be able to walk the woods with him and walk the puppies and that kind of thing. That's the kind of stuff that I look forward to, and I'm with you. I'm praying that we can all band together and pass this thing down to the next generations.
That's what it's going to take.
Yes, sir. Well, Todd, I appreciate it coming on here, man. That was really good stuff. And like I said, I'm looking forward to coming to the Tidewater again next year. I may have to hang up the collar one year and come judge it one year with y'all. But I don't know.
Absolutely.
Y'all make it so damn hard to not come and enjoy it and actually run it. It's hard for me to hang it up and come judge it.
But I know. Well, I appreciate you having me on, James. I mean, what you're doing is great. It's spreading the word, and the more and more we can do stuff like that, that's the way forward for us. I mean, you're a leader here, and that's what we're dependent on.
Thank you, sir. I definitely appreciate it. Well, Todd, I appreciate you coming on, and everybody out there listening. Thank y'all for listening again. Y'all keep up the good work. Let's keep this sport alive for everybody. And like always, happy hunting.